Coach, what did you see out of Cory Brewer that you liked in his workout, and what do you want to see out of him in these next 10 days?
I mean, the sort of standards and the qualities that Elton and I talked a lot about was one, just character, bringing in character into the locker room. And a really sort of close second and third was Kenny Guard. We think at times we need help on perimeter defense, and especially at times guarding people that are in multiple pick and rolls, a pick and roll defensive player from the perimeter. And then third, can he make a shot? And you look at the character, you look at his defense, you look at his ability to shoot the ball, and then it's all draped under, he won 2 national titles at Florida, he won an NBA championship, he's a 12-year veteran, he's good people, like it all sort of fit. And we're happy to welcome him into our team.
Was he someone who stood out to you over your time, like whether it was San Antonio or just, seeing him over the last couple of years? Like, does he have a reputation kind of like as a durable, sturdy guy in the league?
He my most sort of vivid memory of him was when he was with George Karl in Denver. We always had to get through Denver. He was a flyer. God, he flew. He really hit a high lane. They looked for early kick aheads with him flying, and he just was a track star. And he's further on in his career. That's not entirely what we'll be looking for. Ben Simmons pushes it. Lots of times Ben runs past the whole team. To get somebody that can even stay equal is a good thing. But in his early days, I remember Cory in his Denver years as a a flyer. When you dig into the defensive side of it, he really was a prideful defensive player. He could sit down and guard somebody on a live ball. He could guard in a pick and roll environment. And for those of you who might have bumped into him, he's good people. He'll be fantastic for our locker room.
Brad, what's it been like preparing game planning for Covington and Dario kind of on that side?
I mean, it's more, obviously there's no mystery of what they do. You study it in the schemes and the format that Minnesota has put them in, but it's more for me just a respect thing, a friendship thing, an appreciation thing that they truly had a significant thumbprint on helping us grow this. And as I said earlier in one of the games when you asked about Dario and Cov, I took Nerlens Noel and Joel Embiid and Michael Carter-Williams and put them on a plane, and we all flew to Spain just to welcome Dario in the World Championships playing for Croatia. And so that was kind of the first hit stuff. I remember sitting in a draft room with Sam Hinkie, where we started doing some stuff with Elfrid Payton and getting Dario, even though we knew he was going to be overseas for really, he ended up coming sooner than we all expected. And so my history and appreciation of foreign basketball and with Dario and drafting him and all that is steep. And then you look at Cov, who came out of left field, as sort of this 3-ball street guy, street baller, just jacking up threes from the Houston affiliate G League team, and has tried to really promote defense. We get you can shoot, but can you guard? Can you really become a two-way player? If you can, you're going to have value. And to speed dial that forward and to think like somebody gave him $60 million and really set up his and maybe multiple generations of Covingtons underneath him, you're proud of that. And both of those two guys I'm very fond of and grateful for their efforts here in helping us build a new program.
Basketball aside, how much do you miss their presence, having Cov and Dario around?
I love those two guys. And everybody in the room understands it's in Philadelphia. The respect and the friendship and the appreciation I have for them because they're good people. We all endured incredible sort of circumstances over our years. And I follow them like I follow them like I try to with all my players. And now as you get older and longer, there are multiple sort of former players in the league, and those two guys are amongst my favorites.
On the court, they filled a couple of roles that you didn't necessarily have ready-made replacements for when you traded them away. What's your evaluation been of how you've kind of filled their roles on the court since that trade?
We're growing that. You know, we've put a lot of weight on Furkan Korkmaz's doorstep and Landry Shamet and Jonah Bolden, and to a point Shake Milton. Like, think of those 4 names and go, you know, look at their NBA experience is in their few and far between. And so, like, you just throw them into the fire with a pretty good starting 5, and the responsibility that they have / opportunity that they have is incredibly rare on a decent team. You know, we hope to be a very good team in the East. It's rare that they are called upon as much as they are. When you lose 2 starters, you know, and you get 1 back, and we should be talking a little bit about Jared Bayless as well, that, you know, you can see in this situation, if Jared were here still saying we got Jimmy Butler, Jared would be playing. You know, that veteran wing is something that we seek, and one of the reasons Cory has come into this mix. And so the team is evolving. There are deadlines that we all are aware of that are coming up that Elton is on top of. And we understand we're going to need a little bit more, you know, from the bench as time unfolds and the serious side of the season begins. And we're all mindful of that, and I think Elton is going to do a great job on helping us move forward.
Brett, did you get the sense that the fan base was kind of split on Rob and how they viewed his game and what he brought to the floor? It seemed like some people really liked his 3-and-D game. Other people maybe thought he was a little overrated for whatever reason.
Well, I think you go back to the Boston series, you know, like, people remember kind of what you did last, and that's a real big stage, right? And so it wasn't one of his better series. And so I think some of that is reflective of that example that I've just given. I feel like when you weigh it up and you look down and you say, oh, who's got, you know, this, Bruce Bowen did this for us. Like, he could guard a 4-man, he could guard a point guard, a 2 or 3. He was a Swiss Army knife on defense, and he was an all-league defensive player for that reason. And I'm proud that we helped grow him to be able to see, I can shoot, I can shoot, but now can I guard? And do I believe in it and buy into it? And am I studied and prepared? And he did it all. And so maybe the marketplace or Philadelphia is split on him. I'm not. I'm not. And you know, defining Robert Covington's success goes deeper than can you or did you make threes, to me.
Of the players you would coach, was there anybody with quicker hands than him? Do you remember?
No, and you know, I'm sure if I really think I could say somebody, but your point, Rich, is true. And when you forget opinion, when you start charting, you know, the analytics and studying just deflections, he was always amongst the league's best on just getting a fingernail, a finger, or a hand on a ball. And oftentimes it did lead to steals from, it was almost like a hockey steal, a hockey assist, like it led to another steal on the other side of the floor. And I thought that his wingspan, like, he sit down and get in a stance, you know, I think it's 7'6" if I remember correctly, but he was long. And he really has maximized the best of, I think, of his physical attributes, and took pride in defense and was excellent on bothering balls and coming up with deflections on balls.
Back to Brewer for a second. How fresh, how ready physically did he seem? How are you going to handle that part of this whole thing?
I mean, you bring him in, and we do some sort of can drills that we do to assess draft picks. There's a shooting drill that is ours, 76's, you know, 3-point judgment, how we shoot. And it's just way more than rhythm shots. It's a series of things that we do, whether it's you go under pick and rolls, over pick and rolls, re-pick, slide down to corners, whatever it is, it is. So we put those guys through 20, 25 minutes of shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. You start casting threes when you haven't played for a while in NBA distance, it can get the better of people when you haven't played. And the group came in, they were in way better shape than I thought, just based on that drill. And then we did some 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 stuff, and then we play cycle ball, which is really like, you know, 2-on-2, play, run, run, you know, play, run, run. And so you went up and down the floor and you could see it. Toward the end of an hour plus workout, you could see the legs and fair enough fatigue had set in. And so my judgment of him is he was very good amongst that group, given that he hasn't played much basketball. And I hope that we can, you know, give him a chance and let him play and get on a court.
Brett, how do you feel about where this team is at mentally going into this stretch? Where, I mean, you're playing, as you've said, a bunch of elite teams. Are they together? Do they feel like they're prepared for this stretch?
Not to the level that I wished it was. Not to the level that I wished it was. But I say that, and so everybody hears me clearly, it's not anything that I'm panicking about. Like, it would be wrong for me to say after you lose to Washington and Atlanta and don't sort of finish off the Knicks, like you say, oh yeah, we're great. That's not it. But when I look at it, it's not anything that I'm really sitting back and saying that I'm worried about anything. I think the notion, and I will double down on this, that stuff's going to happen straight away, is quite naive. And we're going through our own issues of rotations and play calls and, you know, the lion's share of shots. That isn't just going to happen because it reared its head a week and a half ago. And so I feel like what we do have is honest communication. There's no head fakes. There's no like mystery of what we need to do to get that thing that you just said. That is the holy grail. That is the bottom line. And as I've said all along, fighting every single day for the soul and the spirit of a team is maybe the most important thing I can do. And so it isn't at a place that you wished it was, but it's also January 15th. And it's true, we got some heavyweights coming in, but so be it. And I truly do believe that water rises to its level, and we'll see a little bit more as this next few weeks unfolds.
In terms of Jimmy going against his former team, have you noticed anything different lead up to this